we're at the 6th study in the series, Explaining World Events Viewed in the Context of History and Bible Prophecy. I typically say this at the start of just about all these lectures, that we're living in a world where a lot of stuff is going on. And I think sometimes we make the error of looking at the world with natural eyes. But I think we need to put on the lens of Bible prophecy, so what we're seeing makes sense to us. So this evening we'll be looking at some world events in the United States of America. But they must have some meaning in the context of what the Bible says. And that's the being of our study. Is for us to draw conclusions, not from what CNN says or Fox News, but based on what the Word of God says. Let's just say this quickly. Lest we follow with eyes wide open blindly. Follow with eyes wide open blindly to the news media and what we see going on with us, and we end up going left when we should be going right. So let's look through the clear lens of Bible prophecy, and let's see where the Lord is going to lead us. Again, I'm going to ask the kids to settle down because it's important that we keep focused and press forward. Alrighty? So let's get going. A very common reading here in Education 179, 5th paragraph says, "The present is a time of overwhelming interest to all living. Rulers and statesmen, men who occupy positions of trust and authority, thinking men and women of all classes, have their attention fixed upon the events taking place about us." I think that's quite significant. And I think that is true even in our own observation. I've mentioned countless times what prompted me to do this series, despite writing on some of these topics some 10 years ago, was a recent flight I had from Pittsburgh to North Carolina. I was in the last seat on the plane to the back. And I was engaged in a discussion with a gentleman, a Caucasian gentleman, who was convinced that something was happening. He was a thinking man clearly, and he was questioning all that he was seeing going on in the world. And he wanted answers. And we spoke a little bit. I would delve a little bit in terms of the issues. He was seeing things happening, and he couldn't quite place what all of this meant. In his mind, it was like a jigsaw puzzle. But we have a more sure word of prophecy, isn't that so? Yes, that should guide us to the meaning of these things. It goes on by saying, these thinking men and women, they are watching the strained, restless relations that exist among the nations. I wish many of you guys were here when we discussed the fall of the United States Empire. Because that lecture will explain much of what we're seeing and what's going on between North Korea, and we discussed the whole issue of what was going on with China and Russia. It made sense from a prophetic eyes. When we delve into Revelation 8 primarily, I beg of you, go back and look at the first 4 lectures. USA in Prophecy, Robert Parks, P-A-R-K-E-S, put that in YouTube, and the playlist with the first 4 lectures will come up. That was a vital lecture, and I can't go over it now. But to explain this, what's the strained relationship? Does the Bible say it must occur this way? Absolutely. Yes. And we went through systematically, we showed the biblical context and the parallels, why it have to occur this way. Because the pressure must come from the east. It must come from the east, because so it was when the fall of the Roman Empire. And the US Empire and the Roman Empire are following a parallel. The Bible gave insights and directions as it relates to the Roman Empire. In Revelation chapter 8 and 9, same application applies to the United States of America. So I really wish some of you would go back and really review those studies. They observe the intensity that is taking possession of every earthly element, and they recognize that something great and decisive is about to take place. That the world is on the verge of a what? Stupendous crisis. We spend time and look at what a stupendous crisis is likewise, and how close we are. Again, go back and look at the first 4 lectures. We are at the point where we saw in Revelation chapter 17, again we studied through that in the first 4 lectures, this is just revision, putting things in context. We saw a system of a new world order. So the new world order that was made mention from as early as 1973, echoed by George H.W. Bush in 1990, and re-echoed many times over, it's indeed biblical. The Bible says there will be a new world order. Revelation chapter 17 describes a woman in purple and scarlet riding a beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. And we went through in great detail and picked, using the prophetic lens, and we established that this is a religious war riding a political beast. The New World Order is a system of a religious war riding a political beast. And we identified who this religious war is. The Roman Catholic Church, the papacy. Not the people per se, but the system. And we're very quick and eager to say, we love everyone. We're not talking about individuals, we're talking about what? Systems. Systems. And I'm being very sincere when I'm saying that. If my comments here in this series would have caused anyone any pain because of my clumsiness of expression, I would be pained in the process. My intention is not to cause pain to any individual. My intention is to speak about systems. So the religious whore, and that strong word whore, but it's not my word, it's the Bible word. At least in the King James Version, that's what it's called. She's called a great what? Whore. That's Bible. And it goes on to say she fornicates with the kings of the world. That's Bible again. Revelation chapter 17. So it's a Roman Catholic Church system. And that system is going to control a political beast that has 7 heads and 10 horns. And the 10 horns we learned before are the 10 kingdoms that the Club of Rome envisioned from as early as 1973. That we studied and we show that they are in construction right now. We studied that. Please go back and look at those studies. Please, I beg of you. Because some of you are here for the first time, so you're a bit at a disadvantage. But it's available so you can go back and study. So that's the system of the New World Order. It's a church-state system on a global level. And friends, once I was nervous to make some comments, but my fear is gone now. Yeah, my fear is gone now because I have been settled in this truth.
Amen.
This world will be divided into 10 kingdoms by regions. This world will be controlled by the Roman Catholic Church system.
Yes.
The Bible says so.
Yes. Amen.
No, 2 years ago I was probably nervous to say that. But not anymore. I'm settled in the Word of God.
Amen.
So go back and look at those first 4 studies and you see why we came to that conclusion. So we went on this morning and we looked at the New World Order. We said, what's the law that governs the New World Order? This system that's in the making now and is here with us and is to reach its fullness very soon is governed by a law. And the law is natural law, which is in contradistinction to God's what? Moral law is 10 commandments. It's a competing force. And this system of natural law is with us now, and it will get stronger as time goes on. What's the system of natural law? Where did it come from? Well, we learned very early that the origin of natural law, Satan grew bold in his rebellion and expressed his contempt of the Creator's law. So the contention in heaven was between what? Lucifer and whose law? God's law. This Satan could not bear. He claimed that angels needed no law but should be left free to follow their own will, which would ever guide them aright. That is the origin of natural law. Let's be careful. Natural law is not the same thing as the laws of nature. They're not the same things. Let's not confuse the issues. Natural law is a principle that says man and angels must be left free to follow their own will, which would ever guide them aright. That's the essence of natural law. So any system that says man can do it apart from God finds its origin from the wombs of Lucifer's first contention with God's law. That's the system of natural law. That law was a restriction of their liberty, and that to abolish law was one of the great object of his standing as he did. That was Lucifer's comment and contention. The condition of the angels, he thought, needed improvement. Not so the mind of God, who had made laws and exalted them equal to himself. The happiness of the angelic host consisted in their perfect obedience to law. Each had his special work assigned him, and until Satan rebelled, there had been perfect order and harmonious action in heaven. Let's make a point pretty clear here. If you choose to live apart from God and apart from his laws, you are living in sin. Yes. You see, sometimes we confuse sin as just an action. Sin is a state of being. I want the church to get that point. We sometimes look at the Ten Commandments and say, I haven't done that, I haven't done that. Yes, you haven't done anything at all, including not having a relationship with Christ. You're living in sin. I'm going to say that another time because I want that to soak in the church a little bit. We have become so focused by saying, Lord, I have not transgressed your law. But if we choose to live a life apart from Christ, what are we living in? Sin. So sin is more than just an act of doing. Sin is also a state of being. If you're living in a state of being apart from Christ, you are living in what? Sin. So if you embrace a principle that says what? I can live a right life. Even to be bold to say, I can live a righteous life apart from Christ, you are living in what? Sin. Sin. So natural law is totally contrary to God's design. Natural law says what? Leave men and angels to their own reason. They can determine what? Right and wrong. So the very essence of natural law breeds what? Sinfulness. Are we clear on that, church? So its origin was found with Satan, and then we saw it got some structure. Natural law got some structure with Aristotle, the Greek philosopher. He lived between 384 to 322 BC. Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, he started the concept of final cause or purpose. So everything in life finds its trajectory based on what is considered to be its what? Cause or purpose. Therefore, anything that prevents or interferes with the purpose for which something is created is wrong. That's the early embryonic stage of trying to codify the principle of natural law. But the person who really put natural law into a true meaning, what it stands for, is Thomas Aquinas, a Roman Catholic priest. And what I'm going to read right now, I want you to remember it for the rest of the study. This is the clearest quotation I've ever found on what natural law really is about. Other quotations I've found, they're trying to hide the facts. But no, not Thomas Aquinas. He gave it straight as it is. Listen what he said. Natural law. An ordinance of what? Reason. Are you hearing the Luciferian language? Angels and men can do it on their what? On their own, by their own what? Own reason. Their own thought process. They can determine right from wrong. An ordinance of reason for the common good, made by him who has care of the community. This is the most essential understanding of natural law. Because you might think you are the one determining the law. No. Who is really determining the law? Him who cares for the community. Friends, please, I'm going to just tarry a little bit because we have to get this. Because this is going to explode the meaning soon. You're going to say, no, I understand why Ella spent so much time on this one slide. Let's go one more time. The principle of natural law says, an ordinance of reason. So it's based on what? Reason. Is it based on God's commandments? No. Let's be clear. Based on reason. For the common good. Now our whole discourse for the next 20 minutes is going to be on common good. So we're going to explore what common good means. But here's the point I want us to get. Made by him who has care of the community. So whose judgment is determining common good? He who cares for the community. Whose judgment, whose reason is going to determine the law? He who cares for the what? The community. So we're clear on that point? So I've emphasized that for a reason, and the reason is going to become quite clear now. Let's go into it. So, what is natural law? It's an absolute theory of ethics. So natural law is supposed to guide how people live. Alright? It's a theory of ethics. Listen what it says down. That is not rooted in duty or external imposed laws. So natural law is not rooted in external imposed laws, including God's commandments. So let's be clear. Natural law bear no semblance to God's 10 commandments. Are we clear, church?
Yes.
He said so. Thomas Aquinas, his own reasoning. This is a law that's based on the individual's what? Reasoning that's totally separate and apart from external laws, including God's commandments. So it has no divine semblance in there, friends. Instead it is found in human nature. I thought we had a fallen nature. Can any good thing come from that? What's bad? Not according to him. He said it comes from what? Human nature and our search for genuine happiness and fulfillment. I wonder if my pursuit for happiness and fulfillment goes contrary to your rights. Where does that put you? You guys get the point I'm trying to say? I'm leading to the issue subtly. Are you seeing some of the implications here?
Yes.
Very kind of frightening. You're going to see that mean a lot of meaning soon. There is a natural order in our world determined by some supernatural power that should be followed. Clearly that supernatural power is not God here. Human beings are naturally inclined towards its moral code. But I thought we were sinful and wretched and had but filthy rags. And our righteousness is like what? Filthy rags. But this is a different concept here now. This concept says man naturally goes towards his moral code, which is not going up but going what? Down. The moral life is a life lived according to what? Reason. No God's directive is in this. Reason. By discovering our end, telos, our purpose, we can work out how to achieve this. Now this is the part I find most interesting. Natural law does not give a fixed law. It is not always straightforward and there is some flexibility in application. It's mercurial, isn't that deadly? Because who's the one guiding it? The what? He who controls it? Community. You guys see the danger in that? So natural law can flex and change according to the circumstances. But ultimately it's guided by he who controls the community. According to Aquinas. So we learned earlier, and we had a long study earlier this morning to get to this point, that natural law is the moral foundation of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights that was established in 1940. Natural law is the foundation, the basis of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. And we established that solidly this morning. Unfortunately, I won't be able to establish that this evening now. Alright? We learned that the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights is based on humanism, which is a natural extension of natural law, because humanism teaches that man is the measure of all things. Just as Lucifer says, angels and men can do what? Determine their own destiny, their own purpose, their own path. They don't need what? External laws. They can operate based on their what? Reason. So the natural extension of natural law is humanism, where man is a measure of all things. So in other words, man can be good without God. That's the essence of humanism, friend. If you want to understand humanism, that's their buzzword. Good without God. That's the buzzword of humanism. Good without God. So man can do good without God. That's the summation of humanism, which finds its birth and its origin in natural law. As you can see here, the humanist man here is the same person here in the Human Rights Declaration. Are you seeing it, friends?
Yes.
You see that? Same man. See? 2 hands up, 2 hands up. 2 hands up, 2 hands up. 2 legs, 2 legs, 2 legs. Right, see that? And the laurel wreath around and the globe. So human rights is the competing law with God's 10 commandments. And we saw that the Pope in 2008 echoed human rights. The Pope touts human rights at the United Nations, denounces go-it-alone superpower strategies for global problems. Pope Benedict XVI yesterday upheld the United Nations as a crucial defender of human rights and a force for peace, while warning that unless those human rights are considered God-given. Are they God-given? Is human rights God-given? No. Absolutely not. Where does it find its origin? In natural law, which is totally contrary to God's 10 commandments. Because Thomas said it's what? It's not based on any external law. It's based on what? Internal, human reason. So he's pulling a guys right here. So there are 2 competing laws to define morality. God's 10 commandments and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So I see some of you guys are saying, so what's wrong with human rights? Let's just show what's wrong with human rights. Here it is. Follow me carefully. This is my commentary. Follow the reasoning now. Follow the projected understanding given our discussion so far. Man has God-given inalienable rights as seen in the 10 commandments. Is that true? Yes. God has given us rights that's in the 10 commandments. In the thou shalt nots are actually rights, my friend. You realize that? Yeah, he put a restriction. So by inverse, it's giving freedom. And that's why we learn in the book of James that the law of what? Liberty. That's the reason why. So if we all keep God's commandments, you're all what? Free in keeping God's commandments. Think about it. Commandments are not restricted, friends. They're a band of what? Protection. So we can walk what? Free. If everybody kept the commandment, let's just think about it. As God intended. Could you walk the street at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
What about leave your house open?
Yes.
Wouldn't you be totally free?
Yes.
So the commandments are not restrictive, friends. They are the law of liberty. Transgression of the law is what brings what now? Bondage and sin. So, man has God-given inalienable rights as seen in the 10 commandments. Rights that cannot be bought, sold, suspended, or revoked. These are God-given rights that we have been given. The concept of reason will once again be elevated as a true means to obtain happiness and enlightenment, as legislated during the French Revolution. We discussed that this morning. This is manifested in a man-based morality as expressed in the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So we're making a point here. There's God-given rights that are inalienable. God don't take them away. We can't give them away. They can't be sold. They can't be bought. They are inherent in what God gives us through His commandments. Are we clear on that? But there's another set of laws. Man-given human rights. So there's God-given rights and there's what? Man-given rights. They're not the same thing. I'm going to prove it to you now. Here it is. On the surface, man-made human rights may seem agreeable. You have a right to live, you have a right to have a family, you have a right to work, you have a right to protection. That's what human rights sound like. You have a right to a lot of stuff, right? On the surface, man-made human rights may seem agreeable. However, if these rights are given by man, they can be taken by what? Man. That's the point of human rights I want the church to understand, the entire world to understand. If it's man codified them and man give them, the man can do what? Take them away. Unlike the rights delineated in the 10 commandments, which are given by God and therefore will never be taken by God, only forfeited by each individual or subverted by another individual. So we're clear. Man-made human rights and God-given rights are not the same thing. That's the important point. So with man-made human rights, who is he who changes the law, changes these rights as he sees necessary? He who what? He who is in control of the community. You guys get that? So for human rights, they can vary according to by who? By he who controls it. Because that's exactly what Aquinas said. So let's not become confused now. Let's just focused on the issue. Thomas Aquinas says natural law is a law of ordinance of reason, yes, for the common good, and is administered by him who is in control of the community. So if human rights are extension of natural law, then he who controls the community can also say what? The rights were given to you, but now I can do what? Take them away. And that's why Aquinas said is what? Flexibility. You got that? You see the flexibility now? Yeah. Alright, let's press on. So here is where we are now. We're going to launch off in this evening study now. Here we are. This is just summarizing because some people weren't here this morning. Natural law mediates moral law. Woo! That's a bomb. So natural law is above which law? God's moral law. By this gentleman, Hultan Dush, Roman Catholic priest. One of the philosophers that purports natural law. So he's saying, God law is here, but where's natural law? Above it. And natural law mediates or it brings interpretation to God's what? Natural law. Friends, are you understand how scary that is? Let me go one more time. Natural law mediates moral law. God's 10 commandments are moral laws. Amen? Yes. He said natural law mediates, it gives meaning to it, gives interpretation to what? God's moral law. It goes on to say, and is found within creation. It can be discerned through the use of what? Reason. It seeks the common good. Now, when people hear common good, that sounds very, very good, eh? Everybody has some good, but is that really what it means? No. Let's delve into what common goods mean from the Roman Catholic perspective, from the concept of natural law. So, common good, that's our topic for this study for the next, probably the next 45 minutes or so, or half an hour. So let's go into it. So when I discuss the social and political system of the New World Order in the context of common good. Are you following me, friends? So this man we studied the law of the New World Order, natural law. I'm going to show you that the extension of natural law, it extends into your social life and the political life of any nation and the entire world. Friends, we got that? We're going to use the next half an hour and show that the extension of natural law, its expression, its manifestation, its characterization is found in the social and political sphere of you as an individual, a community, a nation, and the entire world. Friends, you already said a while ago. I want to get this point. I don't want to miss this point. Our task for the next half an hour is to show that the natural extension of natural law, it extends in your social and political spheres for the individual, the community, nations, and the entire world. You'll understand the implications of natural law from its social and political now. And you're going to see it being played out right in front of us in terms of world events. So I'm setting the canvas in terms of what we're going to be looking at in this picture. Are you following me so far? Let's get into it now. So Catholic social teaching and distributism. Remember this word. This word is going to knock on your doorstep very soon, if it's not knocking as yet, on your door. That word is going to be calling on you very soon, making a personal calling card on you very soon. The Catholic social teaching and distributism. Hear what it says now. The Summa Theologiae, written between 1265 and 1274, and also known as the Summa Theologica, or simply the Summa, is the best known work of who? Thomas Aquinas. He keeps coming back, man. Wow. So Thomas Aquinas was a Roman Catholic priest who codified or put in a moral form natural law as a law itself. Are you following me? But he went further and wrote more to establish it as it relates to social welfare. Are you following me, friends? And his main document that he wrote as it relates to how natural law manifests in social welfare is this document called Summa Theologica. Listen now. Although unfinished, Summa is one of the classics of the history of philosophy and one of the most influential works of Western literature. It was intended as an instructional guide for theology students. Friends, are you listening?
Yes.
Not only theology students in Roman Catholic church system, but all church system.
Yes.
it was intended to be the influential piece. Goes on. It was intended as instructional guide for theology students, including seminarians and the literate laity. It was a compendium of all the main theological teachings of the Catholic Church. It presents the reasoning for almost all points of Christian theology in the West. So does this thought process affect the Baptist Church? Yes.
Yes.
What about the Presbyterian Church?
Yes.
What about the Adventist Church?
Yes.
Absolutely. So it's such an influential work that you're going to find how it pervades the whole church system. This work that speaks on the social aspects of natural law. And hear what he has to say now. So when I read Summa Theologiae 2.2, Article 7, I actually searched and found it. It took me about a day or two to find it. But I searched and found it because I had to get it. I had to put the quotes there. So nobody could say, I'm saying what, no. I had to find to show you exactly what it says. So let's ask a question. Whether it is lawful to steal through stress of need. So let me ask a question. Is it ever lawful to steal if you're in need? No. Can we all say amen to that?
Amen.
We all agree on that? As good Christian believers and those who are seeking a relationship with Christ. Amen? But hear what this document says. Objection 3. This is his writing. No, I'm quoting. This is not my writing. His writing. This is not my commentary. This is it. This is the real McCall. Further, a man should love his neighbor as himself. Now, according to Augustine, Contra Medac 7, it is unlawful to steal in order to succor one's neighbor by giving him an alms. Therefore, neither is it lawful to steal in order to remedy one's own needs. On the contrary, in cases of need, all things are common property, so that there would seem to be no sin in taking another's property, for need has made it common. This is not my commentary. This is the Summa Theologica. So is common good as you think it is? That's this common good. Common good says, in cases of need, all things are common property, so that it would seem to be no sin in taking another's property, for need has made it what? Common. So in other words, you have a house. No, you don't have a house. I have 2 houses. I worked hard and I bought 2 houses. And you are in need of a house. I have 2 houses. By Thomas Aquinas in his writing in Summa Theologica. Could he steal one of those houses?
Yes.
But would it be sin?
No.
Not at all. Why? Your need has made my property what? Common property. So that there will seem to be no sin in taking another's property, for need has made it common. So you might be saying, all right, Ella, you just quoting one. Let's look at some more right here. So here's it. This is reason continues now. Here's what he says. Since, however, there are many who are in need, while it is impossible for all to be succored by means of the same thing, each one is entrusted with the stewardship of his own things, so that out of them he may come to the aid of those who are in need. Nevertheless, if the need be so manifest and urgent that it is evident that the present need must be remedied by whatever means be at hand, for instance, when a person is in some imminent danger and there is no other possible remedy, then it is lawful for a man to succor his own need by means of another's property, by taking it either openly or secretly, nor is this, properly speaking, theft or robbery. Welcome to the New World Order. So let me just look at you guys straight up. Those of us who are multiplying houses and lands, it shall get wings and fly away. Because this is the social teaching of the New World Order. Friends, let's just deal with it. I know, when you bring it so sharp, sometimes we don't like it, friends, but there's no other way it can be brought. It has to be this sharp. It has to be straightforward and direct. What I'm putting down is not my writing. This is his writing. This is Western philosophy that guides social gospel. This is it, right there. So if you find yourself very attached to that lovely car of yours, or 2 cars or 3 cars, there might just be someone out there who have a need. And your extra car or cars or house becomes a common what? Common goods. and rightly speaking. See, there's it. Nor is it properly speaking theft or robbery. No. Are we saying that Christians must share? No, we're not saying that. But theft is still theft, right? Isn't that so? Robbery is still robbery. And the Bible still says, what? Thou shalt not what? Ah! But that's because that's called the external law. Are you seeing it plain on, our friends? So the external law, the Ten Commandments said, thou shalt not what? Steal, but natural law says what? We don't ascribe to any divine external law, but because based on what? Reason. And it sounds reasonable that if you have more than what I think you should have, I must be able to what? And it's not stealing, properly speaking. That's what they are saying. I'm not saying I agree with that, but I'm just trying to show you, welcome to the social teaching of the New World Order. Let's go on. So what is satanic social teaching? Doctrine concerning human person, the person in relation to family, community, the environment, and the state. Friends, I'm laboring over some point because I want you guys to get it. What we're discussing is not just an issue between you as an individual. The family, community, the environment, and the what? The state. So this law we're talking about is only going to affect between me and you. No, but the entire world. Everybody. That's the very nature of the doctrine of distributism and Catholic social teaching. It does not only affect between you and I, but in family, community, and the entire world, state and the world. Doctrine concerning wealth and poverty, economic system, modes of social organization, and the role of the state. Based on scripture and what? Tradition. Tradition. And tradition. A good dose of tradition. First began to be combined together in encyclicals and other official documents into a system in the late 19th century. And it was brought almost to its fullness in an encyclical called Rerum Novarum in 1891. So we're pressing forward in time from Thomas Aquinas, and we're coming forward now to 1891. Let us see the Catholic Church social doctrine in terms of distributing as it changed. Let's go to the 19th century and let's read what Rerum Novarum says. And let's see if it's still the case. Because you might accuse the preacher and say, preacher, you only give one quotation or two quotations from something that happened 700 years ago. Let's come closer to our time. Rerum Novarum, section 22. Again, I am quoting. Private ownership, as we have seen, is the natural right of man. And to exercise that right, especially as members of society, is not only lawful, but absolutely necessary. It is lawful, says Thomas Aquinas. So Rerum Novarum is quoting who now? Thomas Aquinas. So that's the bedrock, the foundation. So they are just reiterated and put it in a more applicable form now. So, it is lawful, says Thomas Aquinas, for a man to hold private property, and it is also necessary for the carrying on of human existence. But if the question be asked, how must one's possessions be used? The church replies without hesitation in the words of the same holy doctor, Thomas Aquinas, man should not consider his material possessions as his own, but as common to all, so as to share them without hesitation when others are in need. So as the doctrine changed from Thomas Aquinas to Rerum Novarum in the 19th century? No. Same exact doctrine. Distributism again holds that social and economic structures should promote wide ownership of corporations. Yes, everybody must want something, but it's only getting any more interesting now. Distributism is the basis for antitrust laws and economic cooperatives, including credit unions. Friends, you hear that? So the concept behind credit unions, that's where it's coming from. Rerum Novarum, Quadragesimus Anno, and Centesimus Annus are Catholic social teaching documents which advocate economic distributism. So, going forward now to the 20th century. I want to quote John Paul on social concern, page 42, encyclical. I'm being very deliberate. I'm showing that it hasn't changed. It is necessary to state once more the characteristic principle of Christian social doctrine. The goods of the world are originally meant for all. The right of private property is valid and necessary, but it does not nullify the value of this principle. Which principle? Private property in fact, are under a social mortgage. You get the concept of a social mortgage, friends?
No.
Let me tell you what it means. You have the property. You pay the mortgage for that house. But its usage is what? Common. You guys didn't get it. Let me see if I can break it down. Social mortgage means this. I have 2 houses. The title is in my hands. I'm paying the mortgage. I'm paying the land tax. I'm paying everything. But its usage is what? Common. So if you don't have a house and you have a need, the fact that I am paying the mortgage and I have the tax and I have the responsibility to maintain the property, does that make a difference? Not at all. Because why? It's on a social mortgage. Which means that intrinsically as a social function based upon and justified precisely by the principle of universal destination of goods. That's the social doctrine of the New World Order. So I want us to appreciate something. In communism, nobody don't own anything. Everything belongs to the state. Is that so? Yes. Not in this social system. You can own the land. You can pay the, you can own the car. You pay the bills. But its usage is under what? Social mortgage. So he who controls the community can do what? Choose what? Who uses the car and uses the house. Because it's under what? Social mortgage. Now, let's look through the eyes of the Bible. I would say we're not going to go blind. Did the Bible tell us that this was going to happen?
Yes.
Hear what Isaiah 65, 21 and 22 says. And they shall build houses and inhabit them. So he's talking about when we're redeemed in heaven now.
Yes.
And Isaiah is in a reflective mode now. He's reflecting. And they shall build houses and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another what? Eat. Do you know that's by arbitrary law put that in the Bible? Why didn't God put that in the Bible? What is he saying to us? A time is going to come in what? You're going to build and another is going to inhabit. You're going to plant and what? Another going to eat.
Yeah.
So Isaiah is writing in a what? Reflective sense. When we get to heaven, we're going to reflect it and say what? Thank God those days are gone. Because those days are here with us and they will get stronger, friends. Friends, I'm saying it to you. Brothers and sisters, if you're stuck in your bank account, they're going to take it.
Yes.
If you're multiplying houses, they're going to take it.
Yes.
If you're multiplying land, they are going to take it. Friends, are we clear on that? Now, here it becomes interesting now. And brethren, I understand. Don't think I don't understand. But I still have to tell you the truth. There's a particular brother who said to me, I think it was last week or the week before, I'm trying to establish financial security for my family. I don't see him in the church. I really hope I'd see that brother right here. That's what he said to me. And I was saying, if I answer him directly now, I'm going to crush him. But if he sits in the audience and hear it, he'll be more receptive. But he's not here. But let's say someone else, one of you guys in here having that same mindset. Let me ask you a question. Let's just be honest. Does your financial security lies in your effort? Multiplying houses and lands and cars and working 2-3 jobs?
No.
Let's be honest, friends, really.
No.
Is that where financial security lies?
No. Jesus.
Adventists, please speak to me. Don't play quiet now. This is not a time to play quiet. I'm speaking to your heart to heart.
No, sir.
It can't be, friends. Our security is in the Lord.
Yes.
Now, am I saying we must not work? I'm not saying that.
Sufficient.
I'm saying don't multiply these things because they're going to be taken away.
Yes. Yes.
Friends, let us just deal with it, friends. Let's just deal with the issues. Let's just deal with the issues, friends. And that's why I start by saying this is going to lead us to question ourselves. This is the system that's here and it's a system that's going to get stronger with time. Now, I could go to South Africa and show you how the system has played out in South Africa. I could have gone to countries in Argentina and other places in South America where the system of social mortgage and distributism and liberation theology has played out. I could have done that, but I don't want to go there. I'm leaving that for you for homework. So go and look at your homework and see how this system of distributism, liberation theology, social mortgage concept, how it has wrecked places in the world. South Africa is one. Zimbabwe is another one. Argentina is another one. And we're seeing the same thing happen in Venezuela right now and other places. Let me read the rest of it. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and my elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. So God, from a prophetic lens, the word of God is saying that a time is coming and a time is here where you're going to build and not going to what? Inhabit it. You're going to plant and not going to what? Reap it. That's Bible, friends. Let's deal with it. That's Bible. That's prophetic lens. That's not blind, my blind eyes I'm looking through. I'm looking through what? The prophetic lens of God. Now we're going to switch now. So we discuss the social aspect of natural law. We're going to show where the trajectory sends itself. It's going to extend into political mindset now. Follow me now, friends. We're shifting now from the social concept to what? Political concept. Are you following me, friends?
Yes.
So we're saying natural law, by its very extension and how it moves, it established this system of common good and social mortgage concepts based on reason in its social expression, but it also finds meaning in the political sense. Which will be the political stand of this entire world? That's here now and will expand with time. Let's go into it. Pope Pius XI, Quadragesimo Anno, 1931. Not a Pope papal encyclical. I'm quoting. This is his writing, not mine. Are you hearing me, friends?
Yes.
This is a papal encyclical, right? Pius XI, Quadragesimus Anno, 1931. This is what he says. Under fascism, property owners may keep their property titles and deeds, but the use of their property is, as Leo XIII wrote, common. You got that? You remember we discussed that a while ago?
Yeah.
So, under fascism, follow me now. Property owners may keep their property titles and deeds. So I have two houses, and I'm keeping the title and deeds. Are you following me? They're mine. But their use of the property is common. Common based on what? Needs. So if you have a need, and it's my property that I pay the mortgage, the light, the water and everything, but you have a need, it becomes what? Common. And who determines how it's used? By the who? He who controls the community. Because that's what Thomas Aquinas said, and he's not lying. And his quotation hasn't changed. Fascism is a form of socialism that retains the forms of capitalism, but not its substance. So fascism is not quite like socialism. Socialism really don't own anything. The state owns everything.
Yes.
But not in fascism. You own it, but it's under what? Common usage. Based on the other person's need. Under fascism, property titles and deeds are intact, but the institution of private property has disappeared. What a bummer. Let's go one more time. Under fascism, property titles and deeds are intact. So can you say that they took your property? You can't really say that. But are you going to have access to use it as you see? Not at all. But the institution of private property has what? Disappeared. Government regulations and mandates have replaced it. For this distribution between legal ownership and the actual use, the fascists owe as debt to the Roman Church state. So let me ask us a question. Who are the ones who established the fascist mindset? The Roman Catholic Church system.
Yes.
I didn't say that. Pope Pius XI said that. So the natural extension of natural law is what? Fascism. Let me say that one more time. The natural extension of natural law is fascism. You keep your deeds are entitled to your property, but its use is what? Common. Why? Based on what? The other man's need. I'm looking at you guys' facing. I'm watching if you guys understand what is being said. It's kind of scary, isn't it?
Yes.
But this is going to be knocking on your door very soon.
Start there.
It started already, but it's going to come to this country. It's here already. I'm going to show you how far we are and who is pushing it. But the fascist mindset, based on the horse's mouth here, says owes its origin to the Roman church system. No. So let's talk about fascism. What is fascism? How does it manifest itself? Well, fascism is a government and corporation in partnership to control the property of the citizens. This is a reasonable definition. The government and corporation in partnership to control the property of citizens. I'm from Jamaica. And I've always found it fascinating when you see they come and they build these toll roads. And the people have to pay exorbitant amount of money to use the toll roads.
Yes.
That's fascism at its best. Watch. The government and corporation in partnership to control the
Property of the citizen.
You guys got that?
Yes.
So you have a corporation that comes in and say, we will pay money and we work with the government to build a toll road. And a road that you used to drive on free, spending several $100s per day to go through the toll.
Yes.
So who is controlling the property of your money?
Government.
The government and the corporation in partnership. First, are you getting that?
Yeah.
So in Jamaica, they have this thing where the Chinese come and they build these fancy roads and you pay the exorbitant toll.
Yes.
So you live in Portmore,
You have to pay.
and if you're going to take the back road, it's going to take you so much longer. The road is miserable around there. You find yourself forced to drive and pay on a road. Eh? Because the corporation, the government are in what? Partnership to take what? The property from what? The people. So that property is your money. Fascism, any movement, ideology or attitude that favors dictatorial government, centralized control or private enterprise and repression of all opposition. Does that sound familiar, friends? You guys not unsure how familiar it is. Let's see how familiar it is. So fascism, the fascist is the symbol of fascism. The symbol is a bound bundle of wooden rods surrounding an axe. In ancient Rome, the fascists symbolized a magistrate's power and jurisdiction. The image became the symbol of Mussolini's government in Italy. Fascist movements share commitments to create a proletarian nation that wields the power of corporatism, cooperatives, a system that later has been called state capitalism with government under charismatic leader. So in the past we have seen fascist dictators, right? Mussolini, Hail Führer, Adolf Hitler. Yes?
Yes.
All fascist mindset. Absolute power is in one what? One man. It's an imperial mindset. Are you following me, friends?
Yeah.
And invariably the country, the government and the corporations are what? Together. Have you guys ever wondered why, when there was a financial crisis in 2008, the government bailed out the corporations? You guys ever stop and wonder why? And they are too big to fail. Who heard that saying?
Yes.
Could it be that America is going to have fascist mindset? Let us explore that some more. Let's explore this. The making of a fascist America. Stay with me now. So here we're going to discuss now, friends. We're discussing world events and world views. I'm going to ask us, I really want to clue in on this what I'm going to say. How do you control and shift an entire nation's mindset either to the right or to the left? Listen to the question I'm asking, friends. It's a very important question. Here's what you call social programming. Alright? And with the right techniques, these political scientists know how to shift entire nation's mindset. And they can do it every 4 years and you don't even realize it. Listen to what I'm saying to you, friends? How do you shift an entire nation's mindset to the right or to the left? And why do they have these elections every 4 years? Is it that important to them in terms of achieving an objective? Let's explore that. So I want to discuss making of a fascist America. Here's the plan. This person is Henry Kissinger in an address to the Bilderberg meeting at Evian, France in 1992. Henry Kissinger was a former Secretary of State. You ever recognize the name?
Yes.
This is his word. This is not a misquote. This is his word. And this is the plan now in terms of how do you shift mindset of an entire nation. Listen. Just prod him a little bit. The plan. Let's focus again. Let's not get distracted. Let's get focused. Today's Americans will be outraged if United Nations troops enter Los Angeles to restore order. Tomorrow they will be grateful. So he's giving an address to a think tank, the Bilderberg Group. Powerful think tank that shifts countries' views and perspective. Powerful people. And he's talking to them, and this is what he's saying. Today, talking 1992, today Americans will be outraged if United Nations troops enter Los Angeles to restore them. Tomorrow they will be grateful. This is especially true if they were told there was an outside threat from beyond, whether real or promulgated, that threatened our very existence. It is then that all peoples of the world will pledge with world leaders to deliver them from this evil. I know this is just so demonic and evil. You realize what he's doing here? Let me show you what he's doing here. You guys gotta miss it. He's discussing at the community level, the state level, but then he gone what? International. Let me show you. Let me prove it to you. Follow me. Today Americans will be outraged if United troops enter Los Angeles, which is our community, right? To restore order. Tomorrow they'll be grateful. So he's discussing at the what? Community level. Watch this now. This is especially true if they were told there was an outside threat from beyond, whether real or promulgated, that threatened our very existence. Our existence what? United States existence. Third level now. It is then that all peoples of the world will pledge with world leaders to deliver them from this evil. Worldwide. No. This is not normal way of thinking. This is not the normal way of thinking and reasoning, friends. This is a program we are thinking and reasoning. But you understand what he's saying? Let's create a terror threat that can be there locally in your community, that can threaten your very nation, that can threaten the very what? Entire world. And what's going to happen? Peoples of all world will what? Pledge with world leaders to deliver them from this evil. The one thing every man fears is the unknown. Brilliant. Fred, this is just brilliant, friends. If I show you an object to fear, after a while you're going to lose fear of the object. But if I let you become afraid of the unknown, you will never get over that fear. You guys got the point I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I show you what you're supposed to fear, after a while you're going to stop fearing it. But if I give you an enemy to fear that you can't see, you will never get over that fear. And that fear will always be what? Be there. The one thing every man fears is the unknown. Here is he saying it. When presented with this scenario, individual rights will be willfully relinquished for the guarantee of their well-being granted to them by the world government. So what's the plan? Let's create a system of what? Fear. Let's establish a fear of an unknown. And people are going to be eager to what? Give their what? Rights up with a prospective guarantee of what? Safety. Brilliant. I mean, that's just masterfully evil and brilliant. But it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Henry Kissinger in his address to the Bilderberg meeting at Evian, France, May 21st, 1992. So how is it going to carry out now? So we have to create some system of fear. Create a system of fear with the unknown. And it's going to drive the collective mindset of the people, the mindset of the people, to be willing to give up their what? Their rights. Now, let's look through the prophetic lens now. And let's say the Bible said that's what's going to be the issues in the last days. Isaiah 8, verse 11 to 13 says, "For the Lord spake thus to me with a strong hand, and instructed me that I what? Should not walk in the way of this people, saying, say ye not a confederacy to them to all them whom these people shall say a confederacy. Neither fear ye there, fear, nor be afraid. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself. Let him be your fear and be your dread. So the Bible says in Isaiah verse 8, 11 to 13, that a confederacy is going to be formed, driven by what? Fear. And what are we supposed to do? Not follow their fear. And who must we fear instead? Fear God instead. I love the word. I love the Lord. I love the Bible. Because when I take off the prophetic lens and I look at my blind eyes, I am saying what's going on in the world. But when I go to the Word of God, it says to me that the fear I'm seeing around me now is a what? Connived fear. It's a man-made fear to do what? Drive people to what? Confederate mindset. A collective. Just as Kissinger said, let's create a system of fear of the unknown. And people are going to be willing to what? Give up their what? But the Word of God says I must what? No. Sanctify the Lord and let him be your fear. In this case, fear means respect. Show respect to God instead. So that's the prophetic lens we're looking through now. So we're going to look through the prophetic lens and see what the world is saying to us with all this fear-mongering that we're seeing. So, problem. Islamic invasion and terrorism. Fascinating. Coupled with this thing they call Al-Qaeda and all these strange esoteric terms. What does these things really mean? Where these people come from? The unknown, they're out there. So let's have a system where the country is on either orange and yellow or red. Keep that mind, keep that fear of the unknown. Why? Because if you create an unknown that's a fearful unknown, the people will all be in a state of what? Fear, friends. It's an engineered process. It's not arbitrary. Word of God says it. Fear not their fear. Confederacy. Fear not their fear. So what's the reaction? Outrage and fear. See there, friends? Solution. Control to the New World Order. The solution was the desired state of those who could predict the reaction to a problem that they created. That's done every day. That's how you program populations to move to the left or to the right. Create a system of fear. This Islamic invasion and terrorism. The Muslims are going to kill us all. And they put this picture with these women in these black burqas over their head. And they, ooh, spooky. Can't see their eyes. No, I'm not jesting, friends. It's programmed. Kissinger said that from 1992, that was the plan. So, September 11, 2001. Planes flying in building. You are either with us or you are against with us in the fight against terror. So all of a sudden, terrorism is worldwide. You realize that more people die in this country from interpersonal violence and community violence than terrorism wherever you go?
Yes.
You guys know that, right?
Yes.
All right, I just want to make sure you're clear on that. So here's it now. Here's it, friend. A beautiful Hegelian dialectic. Agenda. Centralizing power under the Vatican and Rome. So what are you going to do? A thesis. What's the thesis? Terrorism, fake or real. Create an unknown. What's the other thesis? Anti-terrorism, increasing police state. What's the synthesis of the new thesis? Removal of freedoms, transfer of power to the one world government under the Vatican of Rome. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Is it working? Absolutely working. Totally brilliant. Thesis, antithesis, and you drive collective mindset of people to what? Whichever side you want to. Friends, this has been used for hundreds of years. This is nothing new. This has just been packaged in a more gullible way. Because we have the media and we can see these things. So 9/11, they play the role over and over and over and over and over again. If you guys knew what some of the stuff that's going on behind the scene 9/11, it would blow your mind. You know how many old people lost their mind in 9/11? You know why? When you get a certain age, you don't process things so well. And when they were watching CNN and they saw this plane flying the building over and over again, guess what they were thinking? It kept on what? Happening. Literally. So they create this system of fear, friends. Because the Word of God says what? Fear not their what? Fear. No. So September 11, 2001, terrorist attack on the World Trade Center, war on terror declared. And right after that, within 3 days, authorization for the use of military force. Here it is, friends, I searched for it. This is the real McCoy. In general, the president is authorized to use all necessary and appropriate force against those nations, organizations, or persons he determines planned, authorized, or committed, aided the terrorist attacks that occurred on September 11, 2001, or harbored such organizations or persons in order to prevent any future acts of international terrorism against the United States by such nations, organizations, or persons. This occurred within 3 days of 9/11 while the building was still burning. As the Twin Towers continued to burn, a near unanimous United States Congress passed authorization for the use of military force. Only one lone objector was this Barbara Lee. So the system of fear is created. Patriot Act and subsequently Military Commission Act was passed. And I've never seen war about to start and men look more happy. I wonder if there are some invested interest in this. I wonder how much shares they have in these military industrial complex. Every bomb that's going to drop, every bullet going to be fired is going to cost the government some money. That money must go to somebody's pocket. But it's kind of nervous when you see so many men look so happy when a war is about to start. Look at that. Isn't that scary, friends? People are going to lose their lives. Soldiers are going to go and die. And look at them. They're looking quite happy. Every time I see this, I shudder. This is not a normal picture. That's an abnormal picture, friends. People's sons and daughters are going to die. And look at them. Happy. Look at that. Look at that face. Look at that. Just look like they have some money invested. Look at that face. Wow, big smile. So here's again a dialectic. Centralization power, manufactured terrorist stress, the problem, thesis, repressive police state, the synthesis, removal of freedoms, rights, liberties are exchanged for the illusion of safety. So here it is, friends. So the pendulum is swung far right. Mass fear or a willingness to give up rights and liberties for perceived safety. So you swing the collective mindset of the nation far right. Are you seeing that? So you're moving towards an outcome, but you're using mass psychology to move people's mindset collectively. Are you following me? Alright. Then we have this president. For me personally, it is important for me to go ahead and affirm that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married. President Barack Obama. Under Obama, a lot of strange issues of morality came to questions. Are you following me?
Yes.
And the country swing what? Erosion of morality and homosexual marriage is far what? Far left. Are you following? You see what's happening now?
Yes.
So you're moving people's mindset and you're aiming towards an outcome. So the country under Obama's mindset was a far left. And there was a great problem. People had a problem with that. And rightly so. Homosexual marriage is not biblical.
No.
But then this man Sinclair Lewis said in 1935, when fascism comes to America, it will be wrapped in the flag and carried across. There we see our present president. Very interesting comparison between the two men. Trump has repeatedly called the press disgusting and corrupt for reporting negative stories about him. Hitler labeled the media that wrote unfavorable stories about the Nazis the looping press or lying press. He was a fascist dictator. You think he's getting there?
Yes.
Fascism 101. Discredit the media and people will believe anything you tell them.
Yes.
Friends, the first thing Adolf Hitler did when he was going to carry Germany fascist, he discredited the press. If people doesn't believe the press, who are they going to believe? If the press is supposed to serve the purpose to balance out the government by keeping checks and balance on them, and the people don't believe the press, what's going on? You set the stage for what? Propaganda.
Yes.
Governmental propaganda. Let's look at some other similarities. Adolf Hitler and Donald Trump. Use racism to rise to power. Use racism to rise to power. Wasn't that his speech?
Yes.
In the last election?
Yes.
Oh yes, it was a racist speech he gave. Let's be honest.
Yes.
And what was Adolf Hitler? Yeah. Is we against the Jews?
Yes.
What was his argument? Is we against those Mexicans who are rapists and murderers coming across the border?
Yes.
And the fear factor.
Yes.
The fear factor, friends.
Yeah.
Remember we learned that the fear factor operates at what? Individual level, community level, state level, and what? International level. Remember we discussed that?
Yes.
Proposed mass deportations. Adolf Hitler proposed mass deportations. Right after the elections, there was this big hoopla about people from a Muslim country must come from this and that country. I'm going to deport those who are here. You remember that discussion?
Yes.
Shifting mindsets again, friends. Follow me, cares, friends. We are getting there, friends. We're getting there. Promise to make Germany great again. Promise to make America great again.
Yes. Yes.
Anti-Jewish fascists, anti-Muslim fascists, anti-black fascists, anti-Mexican fascists,
Yes.
anti-everybody fascists except the white Caucasian.
Yes. Yes.
So we want people from white Caucasian countries as opposed to from... I won't even discuss where he said because it was so disgusting and disruptive. I won't even mention what he said. Blames Jews for Germany's problems, blames immigrants for America's problems.
Yes. Yes.
Thought Jews should wear special IDs, thinks Muslims should wear special IDs. So friends, warning signs of fascism, powerful and continued nationalism, checked. Disdain for the recognition of human rights, this true rights I'm talking about, God rights now, not human rights. Check. Identification of enemies, scapegoats as a unifying cause, check. Supremacy of the military, I'm going to check that likewise. Rampant sexism, that goes without saying, check. Control mass media, he's getting there. Obsession with national security, check. Religion of government are intertwined, we discussed that in our earlier lecture, check. Corporate power is protected.
Yes.
What about this big, what about this tax break?
Yes.
Have you seen any of that money?
No.
No! Where the money gone to? Top 2% of the corporation. Because that's how it works in a fascist state. It's government and corporation in partnership to take away whose property? The people's property. Religion. Labor power is suppressed. Check. Disdain for intellectuals and the arts. Check. Obsession with crime and punishment. Check. Rampant cronyism and corruption. Check, 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 check. Fraudulent elections. Check, 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 check.
Yes.
These are the makings of fascism, friends. We are there. So the country has shifted from Obama's stance all the way to American fascism, nationalism, racial intolerance. Swing to the other side. So that's where we are right now. We're in the grasp of a fascist dictator whose power is going to become more and become absolute very soon.
Yes.
It's happening. I will see.
Yes.
So we're going to look at now the United Nations and its fascist agenda. So we saw the United States. Let's look at a broader context now in a worldwide perspective. All of this is being discussed on the concept of natural law. We're making the point that natural law have a social bite called social mortgage. All things are common, but it have a wicked stab to the individual, community, and the nation in the form of what? Fascism. So look at fascism now on a United Nations agenda. So let's talk a little bit about United Nations. The United Nations was founded on the writing of these women. Elena Petrova Blavatsky, founder of Theosophy, Annie Ward Bassant, her successor. So the writings, these were spiritualists, theosophists. That was the basis of the writing that established the United Nations. And another person who was integral was Alice A. Bailey. Hear what she says. I dedicate myself anew to the service of the coming one and will do all I can to prepare men's minds and hearts for that event. I have no other life intention. Who is that coming one she talked about? Lucifer. That was her agenda. And her writings are established in the United Nations and the Lucis Trust. Her writings. That forms the basis, the philosophy that established the United Nations. Alice A. Bailey, the United Nations and the New World Order. So her writings established that. She have established 10-point strategy for the New World Order. Take God and prayer out of education system. Check. Reduce parental authority over children. Check. Destroy the traditional Christian family structure. Check. If sex is free, make abortion legal and easy. Check. Make divorce easy and legal, free people from the concept of marriage for life. Check. Make homosexuality an alternate lifestyle. Check. Debase art, make it run and run mad. Check. Use media to promote and change mindset. Check. Create an interfaith movement. Check. Get governments to make all these laws and get the church to endorse these. Check, check, check. This is what our writings encompassed. And all of them have been fulfilled. Now, here I found this a very interesting quote. This quote is coming from an insider. It's coming from Dr. Kirk Koch, and he's making an assessment of the New World Order. This is what he says. The New World Order under the United Nations will reduce everything to one common denominator. The system will be made up of a single currency, single centrally financed government, single tax system, single language, single political system, single world court of justice, single state religion. Each person will have a registered number without which he will not be allowed to buy or sell. And there will be one universal world church. Anyone who refuses to take part in the universal system will have no right to exist. Right there. That's a fascist mindset right there. David Spranger, director of Planetary Initiative, United Nations, says what? No one will enter the New World Order unless he or she will make a pledge to worship Lucifer. No one will enter the New Age unless he will take a Luciferian initiation. Zbigniew Brzezinski, 1970. Not a very important person who was in the American governmental system. I believe he was a Secretary of State likewise. The nation state as a fundamental unit of man's organized life has ceased to be the principal creative force. International banks and multinational corporations are acting and planning in terms that are far in advance of the political concepts of the nation state. So the nation state concept is gone, friends. Everything is shifting towards the collective mindset, friends. So what about this Gaia policies? I'm just hitting some high points on the United Nations. Both living and dead organisms as well as inorganic matter all form of the part of the constantly moving system that makes up the biosphere. This so-called Gaia policy was established by this gentleman James Lovelock and Lynn Margulis. The Gaia policy was initially put forward by James Lovelock and later co-developed by Lynn Margulis. A hypothesis that Earth is like a huge self-regulating organism. Now listen, friends, I'm making a point here. Don't miss the point now. I'm making a transition from the local to the international now to the United Nations of natural law in social and political context. And you understand what I'm doing? Alright, very good. Let's go now. So Gaia policies, named from the Greek goddess Gaia, the earth as a goddess. And from that we have Earth Day, which is a Gaia worship and a part of the New World Order system. But why is this pushed like that? Because it all falls down to this Agenda 21. What's Agenda 21 that's been touted by the United Nations? What's that? Well, here it is. Agenda 21 is a non-binding, voluntary implemented action plan of the United Nations with regard to sustainable development. It was brought forward as a product of the UNICEF conference held in Rio de Janeiro in 1992. It's an action agenda for the United Nations. The agenda refers to the 21st century. And we need to think globally but act locally. So the push for Agenda 21 is two key words, or a set of words. Sustainable development and biodiversity. Sounds very interesting. What does it really mean? Well, here are the 21 agenda's objectives. The end of nation sovereignty, consistent with Alexei Bailey. The abolition of private property. Why abolition of private property? Because they're going to be under what? Common good. Are you seeing that?
Yes.
So you love the property still, but its usage is no longer what? Your private determination, but what? Under what? Common use. The restructure of the family unit. Alexei Bailey again. Increasing restrictions and limitations on mobility and opportunity. Fascist mindset. Human beings are concentrated into human settlement zones. Irrigation is unsustainably gone. Grazing of livestock unsustainably gone. Farmland unsustainably gone. Why do you think that you have to buy seeds and all that from Monsanto? And heirloom seeds are gone now. No, the seeds that you buy, they have to go to the manufacturer and buy these engineered seeds. And you plant them, the crop comes, but they don't produce no seed. So you have to go back and do what? Buy some more seeds from the manufacturer of the seeds. You plant them, you eat the food, no seeds to plant the second harvest. You have to go back and do what? Buy some more. You think that's by chance, friends?
No.
And here we see simulated reserve and corridor systems that protect diversity throughout the United States of America. So they have created different corridors where you can use the land and where you can't use the land. Same principle of this distributism. And here are the so-called goals, the global goals for sustainable development. no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable clean energy, and it goes on, industry, innovation and infrastructure. All of these, friends, sound like good what? Rights. But who controls the rights? He who controls the community. What about distributors and climate change? This is the biggest McCoy ever in this world history. How so? This is from Dr. Otmar Edenhofer, IPCC, co-chair of the working group in November 2010, in the interview with Charles Batin. He said this. This is real, friends. This is what he said. We, United Nations, this is what I talk about about climate change. Listen, we redistribute de facto the world's wealth by climate policy. One has to free oneself from the illusion that international climate policy is environmental policy. This has almost nothing to do with environmental policy anymore. You guys got that? This is natural law, Catholic social teaching, distributism on a what? International level. So what do is this? You disenfranchise those Protestant countries by what? Those are the rich countries, isn't that so? By create a system like this. We redistribute the world goods. You take it from the haves and give it to the what? But it doesn't really go to the have-nots. It goes to who? He who controls the community. So, wrapping up now, last few slides. In 2015, Pope Francis called for an ecological conversion for the faithful in his sweeping new encyclical on the environment called what? Laudato Si, or be praised, or praise be. He warns of harming birds and industrial waste and calls for renewable fuel subsidies and energy efficiency. This I'm quoting from is from his encyclical. This is not my commentary. So from this encyclical, Laudato Si, section 237, I read it myself and I put in there myself. It says, Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationship with God and ourselves, with others, and with the world. If this is not brilliant, I don't know what is brilliant. Let's read it out. Let's understand what's going on here. Doesn't the environment affect everybody on the planet? Yes, everybody. So he's linking Sunday observance as a time to rest to what? Heal the planet. Are you seeing that, friends? Let's go one more time. Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationship with God, with others, with ourselves and with others, and with the what? The world. That's what the world is what? That's environmental peace. So let's have a day of rest. It will heal what? My relationship with you, my relationship with my family, my relationship in the community, but will also what? Give the world, give the earth a what? A rest. To heal the what? So-called what? Environmental climate change issue. Friends, he's setting the stage for an international Sunday law on the guise of what? Climate change and to preserving the earth. That's what he's doing. And he's doing that through an encyclical. I really challenge us to go and read. This is there. It is there, friend. This is there. It is there. The Vatican, the Pope, the UN Agenda 2030. Pope arrives in the United States in 2015, and there was total pandemonium. And he spoke, Pope Francis urges Congress to action on refugees and climate change. Pope Francis addressed the joint meeting of the Congress in 2015. Brilliant strategy. Before he gets to the United Nations to speak on the issue of climate change, he stands in the American Congress and says, world leaders in the Congress, get with it. Get with it. And this is after he has this encyclical first, where he has this comments about Sunday being healing relationship with the world and others. Then the same year, he speaks in the Congress. And then right after, Pope Francis addressed the United Nations General Assembly. And what do you think he spoke on? Issue of what? climate change. Pushing for climate change, which is tied up with a Sunday law. They're tied up. Here it is. Pope Francis addressed the United Nations General Assembly, September 25th, December 2015. The misuse and destruction of the environment are all accompanied by a relentless process of exclusion. In effect, a selfish and boundless thirst for power and material prosperity leads both to the misuse of available natural resources and to the exclusion of the weak and disadvantaged. Let me ask you a question. In the system that we saw with the woman riding the beast, in that system, who is he who controls the community? The woman who is what? Riding the what? The beast. So in terms of the distributism that's going on in this world, who determines that? He who controls the community. And his friends, you know, the Paris Change Climate Agreement came into being. The Pope went behind it and it made a difference. They're all signed on, and here is what it's talking about. The agreement, temperatures, finance, this differentiation, emission objectives, burden sharing, review mechanism, and climate damage. All of this, friends, is a system of redistributism. It all finds origin in natural law. It all finds origin in Catholic social teaching. And friends, when this takes effect, the rich, powerful countries will not be rich and powerful anymore. They'll become vassal states. And the money is going to be in he who controls the community. The Paris Agreement on Climate Change has officially taken effect November 4, 2016. But we have seen all of this occurring. Does God have a final warning? I want us to come back next Sabbath morning. We're going to be discussing the final warning. So all these things are going on in the political sphere, social sphere, great uncertainty and disturbances. But my message to you, friends, is this. I think you should hold your cash and your belongings with wide open palms as opposed to clenched fists. Because this system of Catholic social teaching that's based on natural law, all you have is on a social mortgage. Because if it's needed, it's under what? Common good. And the common good is determined by he who controls the community, as Thomas Aquinas said. And this system of redistributism is played out at the community level, the national level, and we see it being played out right now in the international level through the United Nations, through this disguise of climate change. Now, is it climate changing? Absolutely. Yes, because the Lord says what? The world is going to get what? Like an old rock. Wear out, yes. So we expect it to change. But the guise is to bring a system of redistributism at the international level. Friends, we're here. We're living in a very fascinating time. And as I've said many times before, I'm trying my best to be poor. I pour all my money in mission and ministry. All my money. And so far my wife has been tolerant. Don't tell her I said that, please. But she has been very tolerant. But I pour all my money out in ministry. All my money. I'm trying my best to remain poor. Because I'm going to give it to God's cause now. Because they're going to come for it. I know they're going to come for it. So those of us who have 3, 4, 5, 6 houses and claiming that they want financial security, they're going to take it from you, friends. The Catholic social teaching from natural law dictates that it must be so. And the present actions of this fascist mindset that we're seeing in this country and other countries is a given. Let's not be like the ostrich and hide our heads in the sand, in the hole in the sand, and say, oh, I'm not seeing it, so it's not there. It is here with us.
Yes.
May God bless and keep us as we come back next week to hear the final warning and hear what God's message of hope is for us. And remember, friends, fear ye not their fear. though they even say confederacy, and though they plan for you to build and they move into, and though they plan for your planting for them to come and read, God is still in control.
Amen.
This message is not a message to frighten you. It's a message to put now and eternity into perspective and to live for Jesus Christ. Let us close off in prayer.